In this video, I'm going to walk you through setting up the Fibonacci tool in the Thinkorswim platform. So here we have a daily chart of the S&P 500. And here is a good high to low swing that we're going to want to take a retracement of. And so there's a few ways to get to our Fibonacci tool. First, you can actually right click where you would want to start the retracement and do drawings, and then go to drawing tools down here, and the Fibonacci tool will be this little percentage sign, and then just left click that and then just click and drag to from the high and low. And so right away yours might not snap to the candles. So mine will snap to the high and the low of them really easily. And so if that doesn't happen right away and you want that to happen, just go to settings up here and click settings, and then just under general, you'll see down here snap drawings to. And if it says none, change it to whichever you want. You probably want open, high, low, close, and that'll just make it so it'll snap to all the different parts of the candlestick. So you can have it snap to this part, like the top of the wick, or the body of the candle, or the low body, and then the bottom of the wick as well. And as well, annoying way to have to get rid of, if you're drawing, you just kind of have to right click, and then I just kind of click up here to get rid of the right click box. You can't really click here and then right click it off. That is one really annoying thing about the Fibonacci tool, is there's really no way to get rid of it. I guess you can click escape on your keyboard as well, but if you don't want to be using your keyboard to do that, it just click and then click up here. Really works well. Anyway, now on to actually setting up the retracements. So another way to bring up the drawing tool real quick is just up here in drawings, and then under drawing tools you will then find your Fibonacci retracement tool here as well, and then that's another way to find it there. And so once you have a drawing up though, you're going to want to right click on it, any of the lines, even this diagonal line of where you drew it, and edit properties, and that'll bring up all the settings for it. And so you can change off on, I don't know by default if they have this extends, but if you don't have that right extension on, I definitely suggest having that right extension on, because if you don't have it, this isn't really helpful to see the lines only go this far. Definitely put on that right extension. You can put on the left, but that doesn't help as much, in my opinion, I would say. But by all means do it, and then you can change where the price and coefficients are. And then here, if you want to change an exact value, you can actually type that in as well instead of trying to draw it on the chart. So that's easier. And then down here, this is where you put in the Fibonacci values. And so these are kind of the ones I have right now. If we actually restore to factory default and then click OK, I'll actually redraw this, so then we can kind of go from the basics. And so here, they all kind of show up as red lines. I don't believe they have any extensions on. They might. So they do have a few extensions. And then you can add more lines here. I think you can go all the way to 15. Yeah, so that's if you want to have as many as possible. And then in here you can go, they have your basic ones all the way up from 0 to 1, which is great. And then the extensions, I'll actually put a list in the description below of really all the extensions you can do, but a lot of basic, generally used ones are, you always want to have the 0.618, so you want to have the, these are the kind of the strongest levels of the extension. So the 0.618 is high resistance or high support level, the 1.618, the 2.618, and then you'd want to put in the 3.618 and the 4.618 if the stock kind of gets that far. And then another level you're going to want to put in here actually is the 1.272. And so that, I believe, that is a pretty powerful level too, that gets hit and bounced off of quite often. That is just, I believe math-wise, is the square root of the 1.6 the 1618. And so that's pretty powerful level as well. And then just going down, I kind of sometimes like to have the 2 in there just because if it makes a symmetrical move to the upside, that can be good to know. And then from there, quite often just the 382 of whatever number you're on, and then the 2618, and then you can go to the 3, and then the 3618 or the 382, and then the 3618, and then all the way to the 4618. And so I didn't put all the levels in here, but this is just a good way to show you. You definitely always want to have the 618s in there, I would say. And then as the stock moves higher and higher, you could take these levels out and just add more of these higher up levels, because those are the ones that are actually pertinent to where the stock is right now. And so that's just one way you could do that. You could start editing these out, so you could delete these and add in different numbers. And then another good thing to do is I like to change the colors of these. And so generally I have the 618s as red, and then just other colors for different levels. And so that can be kind of figure out how you want to do that. Usually I have kind of the more medium levels be green, but I also like to keep it so it's not two of the same colors next to each other, just so it's kind of aesthetically pleasing and easier on your eyes. And so that'll make it a lot better to see just those levels. And so this is kind of some of a layout that I like to do. And then the last thing you can do as well is, if you do want to do, you can change the style of these too. So you could maybe for the weaker levels, you could make them dashed line. For the bigger levels, you could make them a thicker line. And so that's just, this is what kind of that looks like. So maybe that makes it pop out more for you. Of course, it's all personal preference. And then another thing to do is, there's definitely a lot of lines here. And sometimes once it goes through that level, or maybe if it's kind of clustered like this, if the stock's really small, you don't want to see all those levels, you can actually remove them by holding control, the left control on your keyboard, and then left clicking on the level, and that'll delete it. And so you have to be pretty accurate. If you miss, it will try and make another drawing, but that is a way to remove it. And you can also just do that in the edit settings by clicking the box, and then you can re-add them by clicking the box back on. And then the final thing you're going to want to do, definitely if you get this all set up the way you want to do it, you want to go back into the settings and save this as your default. There's no other way to really save it. And so you want to definitely save this as your default, so then it won't be that basic setup every time and you have to set this up. And then so once you have that saved as your default, it'll always be the way you set that up. It won't be that basic default setting that might not be the way you want it set up. So this was just how to set up the Fibonacci tool in the Thinkorswim platform. If you're wanting to learn more about the Fibonacci retracements and extensions and how to use those levels, I will link videos in the description below of videos I've done on that, and you can learn all about that in those videos. Other than that, thanks for watching this video, and subscribe if you want to learn more about this type of content. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments below.